Hi guys, so today is Ellie's birthday. Although she kind of celebrated it a few days ago, but today is officially Ellie's birthday, and she already got her gift from me, which was her MacBook for studying her law school. But she has another gift to open, which has come all the way from the UK from my mum and dad. So we'll get that open and then we'll get into the meat of what this video is today, which is the struggles, trials and tribulations of building in an Ayala subdivision.
Yeah, but anyway, I want to talk about the gift first, because you know, this is the difficult part of Nick being British, and it's also difficult for his parents being away from us, because they're not here to, you know, to celebrate whatever we have, whatever success we have in our lives, or like they're not here to enjoy Rhiannon's growing up and all, or our birthdays or Christmas. So it's very nice because Nick's mom is, I'd say to you that Nick's parents, they are like the perfect, you can say, without pretensions or anything, without pretense, I'd say that they are the best parent-in-law. Right, really. So what mom used to do is like, back then they come here like once a year, sometimes twice in a year. But sadly now with the COVID, they can't do that anymore. So what mom is doing is like sending us packages, like lots of boxes, and then she'd put there like gift for next birthday, for next Christmas present, and so for me as well, and Rhiannon's, and also cards. She will already write like birthday cards, Christmas cards for all of us. And this one actually was sent to us like, I don't know, like maybe
6 months ago.
6 months ago. And she does that every year. So I'd say that I'm very lucky to be part of their family. So now I'm gonna open this gift from mom and dad for my birthday. And you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna be sending another set of packages for Christmas.
For Christmas.
Oh, babe. Oh, now we're paired.
Oh, you got some Crocs?
Yeah, but this is also what she got me the last time, but just another color. Yeah.
Are they Crocs or Havaianas?
I think they are. They're flip-flop. Yeah.
Flip-flops?
Yeah. Flip-flops. Sorry, flip-flops brand.
That's what we call slippers in the UK.
Yeah.
Flip-flops.
But it's actually her favorite brand. She likes it better than Crocs.
I've had to get Crocs because when I wear slippers, I have a tendency to bash my toes on things.
Yeah. So I got him Crocs for his gardening. So mom, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But one thing as well with mom, she really likes buying colorful stuff for me. Like this. Or sometimes she'd buy me like yellow green. She probably like thinks that I look nice in them because I'm brown or something. But anyway, thank you so much, mom. I appreciate it. And yeah, all our nails are busted. Nick's more busted than mine. He's doing more gardening now. So what else?
So today's video is going to be about building in Montala. So we've had lots of videos lately which have been about the garden, as Ellie's been busy.
It's actually a request.
Yeah, this was a requested video. So we've had lots of videos lately about the garden, as that's what I've been doing while Ellie's been studying. But this is the Alvera Living channel, and it's supposed to be about living in
here in
Alvera.
Yeah.
So Alvera is a subdivision in Porac, Pampanga. Very convenient, close to the SC Techs. Actually, Alvera Estate has several subdivisions inside of it, as well as a country club. You may have seen some of our videos from the country club also. We're inside of Montala, which is one of the several subdivisions that they've got here.
Under Alveo.
Yeah, so there's 3 different levels of subdivision that Ayala do. So you've got Avida, Alveo, and Ayala Land Premier. The Premier lots are the same price pretty much per square meter, but the cuts are just a lot bigger. And a top tip that we've got was, if you want to build a big house, buy 2 lots in Alveo rather than 1 lot in Ayala Land Premier, because Premier has much bigger setbacks. So although your lot's big, you can't build on all of it.
Which is really nice.
So we're going to have an Ayala Land Premier over the perimeter wall. So we're in Alveo, and what we're going to talk about today is the various restrictions that Ayala have. So obviously, you know, there's a lot of subdivisions in the Philippines that we have, you know, checked and sometimes experienced living in.
Camellia.
And a lot of them, they have rules, but they're not necessarily enforced. And over time, some of the subdivisions just start to look a little bit run down and not so well maintained. So one of the reasons we invested here for our family home in Ayala was that it's, you know, they enforce the restrictions, which is both a plus and a minus. Some of the restrictions maybe are a little bit too much. Some of them maybe on the surface don't make much sense, but after a while you can kind of understand why they're like that. So as you know, Ellie is the one who dealt with most of, well, all of the pretty much the paperworks. I just dealt with earning the money to pay the house and designing it. But Ellie did all the running around with paperworks and so on, which, you know, actually any of you who live in the Philippines will know that doing paperworks and dealing with governments is not easy. And
falling in line and going back.
Yeah, it was probably actually in some ways harder than me sitting down on the computer trying to earn the money to build the house. So Ellie is going to talk today about the process that we underwent. Bearing in mind as well, we did not have a contractor doing this for us. So some contractors, they will kind of take care of the paperworks. Our contractor that we originally had said they would, but then didn't do a very good job, amongst other things. So which is why we just took over the construction ourselves.
We also have to make a separate video actually, babe,
about the contractor and doing a self-build.
Yeah. You really have to be careful because we were victimized because of that. And it was like one of the hardest like memories that I could ever think of if I sit down and just want to feel depressed.
That's not why you went to law school, is it? So that you can go and get revenge?
No, not really, because we kind of let it go, right? It's like not worth our time. It was a lot of money and it really hurts. It delays us, but really it delayed us for quite a long time.
Yeah, 9 months, I guess.
Yeah, because you know, we don't have, you know, we're not rich people, and Nick is just really trying his best to earn enough to give us a good life. And we're just so lucky as well because Nick's boss actually offered to help us building this house. Like, shout out to Brad and Malisha. So yes, it's very challenging. That's why you gotta be careful when you pick a contractor, because we made a big mistake out of that. There's already a lot of parameters that was not met during the transaction, and we were like kind of naive, and it's a long story, but anyway, it's gonna be a separate video.
So we had a request. Someone sent me a Facebook message. I believe they're another lot owner here in Montala who found our videos and asked if we could do a video about the restrictions, how we dealt with them, what issues we came across while dealing with the construction permits, the Ayala on-site engineer, and so on. So that's what Ellie is going to talk to you about today.
It's a bit of a boring topic, but I think it's very helpful. That's why you have to put there like the difficulty of building a house in Ayala Subdivision, because Ayala is very known all over the Philippines. It's a, how do I say, like, they are pretty good. Not just pretty good. They are really good developer. I would say that about Ayala. They are very high respected. The whole country really give them a high regard because, because of the restrictions. But when you're on the other end of it, it's very difficult to comply with. So at first, what do you want me to talk about? Like how we...
Well, start at the beginning, which was passing the plans, basically.
passing
So
the
our
plan,
plans got
right.
sent back several times.
So as Nick mentioned a while ago, there's Avida. There's 3 different, I don't know, category in Ayala land. So they have Avida, and then
Alveo.
the middle class, which is us, Alveo, and then there's the rich guys in Ayala Land Premier. So like Avida, Alveo, and Ayala Land Premier, although we're all in Ayala, but because of there's a lot of differences. Like in Ayala Land Premier, you cannot buy smaller lots. They have like a minimum cut that you can buy. Although it's the same price per square meter with our land here in Alveo, but because you need to buy like a minimum size of a lot, it makes it then more expensive. Like I think the minimum there is like 20 million, right?
I think the minimum lot size is around 800 to 1,000 square meters. Or
Yeah,
something.
and then if you, it's probably now around 25 million. Like no more than that, because it's probably around 28 million now to buy in Ayala Land Premier. Anyway, let's not talk about that. It's not what I wanted to talk about, but I'm just telling you that there's differences. And in Ayala Land Premier, they don't have electric lines. Everything is underground. So it's probably the reason why, it's more like expensive to live there. Well, us, since we can only afford, based on mixed income, we decided to live in Alveo because the cut here is a bit bigger than those in Avida. So what happened is, Avida, Alveo, and Ayala Land Premier have different restrictions. Like when you buy a land in Ayala, you will be given like thick, like contract. And at first there's a contract to sell, and then there's a contract like after the sale, and it will.
It's a deed of restriction.
Yes, it will include the deed of restrictions. And at first, I just signed it, and I was like, it's probably just for formalities and all. But then when we started building, everything came crashing down on us, and it was like, oh my God, what are these? Because guys, like for example, our lot here is 270 square meter, right? You cannot use all of it because you have to leave, like
2 meters at either side, 3 meters front, 3 meters
and
back.
3 meters back.
Unless you're facing onto a park.
Yes.
And then it's 3 meters onto the perimeters that face onto the parks as well.
And also us, we have to leave 3 meters.
3 meters at the rear because we're against the perimeter wall.
Yes. And then, and at first I was like, why? Why can't we use the whole land? I mean, we paid for it. But then, no. And you would think, because we came from other subdivisions, right? At first, they would comply with, the homeowners will comply with the restrictions. But after a while, they would start encroaching to the restrictions. And hi, Rihanna. And the subdivision will have nothing to do with it anymore because the house is done. Like it's already turned over, so you can do whatever you want. But no, not in Ayala. They will always check up on you to make sure that you are not breaking the rules. So what happened is our plan was like 6 times, right?
I think 6
we go
times
back and
return.
forth to Manila, and
You have to indicate the mailbox.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a generator, what type of generator, the size of the generator. And a lot of these questions we didn't have answers for because I said, I don't even know if we're going to have a generator. I have a provision, there's a space for a generator, maybe in the future, if we find that we need it.
But you know why? You know why you really have to indicate in there? Because the noisy generator is not allowed.
Yeah, it has to be a
right?
silent type
so
generator.
So you have to really indicate what kind of generator, because if you, if you will not comply with the generator that you put in there, they will come. They will come after you. Yeah, because we have this before we started building, babe. There's this notarized agreement that we have to comply with all the restrictions, and if you won't, then Ayala will come after you.
They'll
right?
come after you because you're the lot owner.
Sorry, will come after us. And so you thought it was just a joke, but no, they're not joking about it. And it was really difficult at first, right? Going back and forth. Oh no, ma'am. The engineer Jess. Hi, Engineer Jess. Like at first, Nick and Engineer Jess, they usually have like altercations because Jesse would really make sure that everything that is written in the restrictions, you have to comply with it. Then the homeowners will try to like go around it, but no, you can't, because he'd say, no, then we cannot approve your plan if you will not do this and do that, because the restrictions say so. And then if it's not approved, then I cannot go to the City Hall of Porac and Municipality of Porac and have the engineering department release me the permit to build. So I really have to comply with Ayala first. So it went back and forth, and probably after 4 or 5 months, we finally got approved. And then after that, I had to go to the barangay hall here, where we're located in Hacienda Dolores, and ask for sort of certificates. And then after that, I have to go to the municipal hall in the engineering department of Porac, so then they can give me the building permit. Then we had to wait for 2 weeks for that to be released, right? Because they have to review also our plan that is coming from Ayala. And then after that, finally, we're so happy we can finally start building. And then we have to put up
enclosure.
And by the way, don't forget the soil testing, right?
Yep. We have to get soil testing.
You have to do that.
And get the lot resurveyed.
In resurvey, and you know why? And Nick was like, why should we do that? The Ayala already did all that. Yes, but they want you to do it yourself, so that when there's
so you agree with that plan.
You can compare it with theirs.
Which
right?
happened. There was a discrepancy on one of the other lot owners here before they started construction. They had a survey done, and the perimeter wall had been built slightly the wrong place, and there was a couple of square meters discrepancy. So, which reminds me of something else as well. Your lot line starts 1 meter back from the road.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, you've got the road, and then you've got the sidewalk, and then there's 1 meter which is Ayala's land before yours starts, and they maintain that. You're not allowed to build on it. You're not allowed to landscape it. They will be the one who landscape it afterwards. But that also as well allows them, I think, some leeway as well. If the perimeter wall at the back is half a meter off, then they can kind of extend you half a meter maybe into the front there, because Engineer Jess said that actually that 1 meter varies.
Sometimes it's wider.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a 1 meter. Yes. Yeah. But sometimes it's wider.
So it's important to get it resurveyed, by your own independent surveyor, and also as well the soil test to prove that the soil can handle the size of structure that you're putting on it. In our case, we built 3 stories with some quite oversized columns, because we've also got kind of a jacuzzi up on the 3rd floor. So there's a lot of weight there from the water, and there's a dynamic loads coming from water when it moves around. So there's a lot of weight in this house. So you've got to really make sure that the foundations are deep enough and the soil is not soft.
Right? Or foundation?
I think they dug down probably about 2.5, 3 meters for foundations.
Because you also have to understand, babe, that this is lahar. This is like Pinatubo area, so we have lots of sand on top of the original soil.
Yeah.
That's why we really have to like dig and although I'm not an engineer, so I don't really understand, but as far as I can understand it, they want to know how deep you have to dig.
Yeah, how deep you have to dig. And it was interesting as well, when they were doing the excavation here, you could see the layers.
Yes.
You could see, the soil, which is built up on top on top of the lahar, and then you could see the layer of lahar from the eruption, 20 something years ago. So yeah, it was kind of interesting when the excavation was done. You could see the different layers.
Yeah. And so after that, finally were able to start the building. But the suffering didn't end there. It's just the beginning, because first we have to have permits for the workers. Oh, that's a lot of work as well.
And they're not allowed to stay on site.
Yeah.
So you have to find a barracks for them nearby to stay in.
Yes.
Transportation for the workers to and from. Only 2 motorbikes are allowed inside.
Yes.
We brought, because we took over ourselves after the contractor fell apart, we brought a Jeep,
Yes.
which we, ended up selling at a loss because it was just so unreliable. So in the end, we just paid a local jeepney service to bring them back and
That
forth.
was like 800 pesos a day.
Yeah, just for the Jeep.
Yes, because they're not allowed to stay here, and they're not allowed to cook.
Yep, not allowed to cook,
It's
not allowed
very
hot
difficult
food.
because the workers, the construction workers, they want some like warm food, but they couldn't do that here. Which
And no
I
smoking?
understand. And oh my God, the no smoking though. You have to abide it because there will be a security guard checking here and making sure that there is no cigarette butt.
butts.
Because cigarette butt is equivalent to 250 pesos fine. If a security guard can see like this, like what's that, babe?
Cigarette butts.
Yeah, cigarette butts. And, just wherever, they will pick it up and then they will fine me
Yep.
250 pesos
Per butt.
per butt. Per butt. 250 pesos, which is a lot of money. So you really have to have good relationship with your workers and make them understand, like, no, please don't make me pay for your yes, that's one of it. And then uniforms, they really need to have uniforms.
And different color for every construction team,
Yes.
so the guards at a distance can recognize.
IDs. And
Yeah.
after there was also another challenge after the pandemic.
Yep, the health clearances and
Yes,
everything for them.
It's also, but then again,
And don't forget as well, no cavorting with domestic helpers.
yes, like if you have a driver or a helper inside the house, they're not allowed to like
Go and talk and talk with the construction workers.
Yes, in a lovely or romantic relationship with other workers here around the subdivision. I think because they're protecting the inside job kind of thing. Yes. So at first, by the way, 1 tree per house.
Yes, make sure you have a tree.
Yes.
You won't get your 200,000.
So
That's something else that we didn't mention. The construction deposit in a lot of subdivisions. When we did our renovations in Decker, it was like 15,000, but here it was 200,000 construction bond.
You cannot get it back if you have some
Penalties.
Penalties.
And you only get 2 years to build, or is it now 12 months?
2 years.
2 years for the construction. After that, they start deducting from the
Originally,
200,000.
actually, in the deed of restriction, it's only 12 months.
Right.
Yes, but
And then we got an 6-month extension because of the COVID lockdowns.
yes. Actually, they were pretty, because we're one of the first people who are building a house here, right?
Yeah.
So they're still like finishing the whole area, the whole subdivision, and in fact, our swimming pool is still under construction.
Yeah.
There's just around 5 houses,
5 houses
here right
right
now. So they're a little bit more relaxed when it comes to the limit of the time. Yes. Yes, let's talk about the tree.
The tree, yes, you got to make sure you have a tree.
Yeah.
So we actually now have several trees, so we more than comply.
Yeah, but you also need to build an enclosure of your.
Well, depending on the size of your lots, and how close the tree is going to be planted. Some people here they own a couple of lots and they're building a smaller house and having a bigger garden. So, but obviously, if the tree is in close proximity to the house, you want it to be contained so the roots don't get into the foundation. So, the lemon and lime rubber tree behind Ellie that obviously is enclosed inside of this planter.
Our other rubber tree there, we really built that
Yeah,
we
underground, we
yeah.
built a concrete container for it. When you do that also, remember to put drain holes in the bottom so it
Yes.
doesn't flood, fill up the
It
roots.
will not kill your tree.
Yeah.
So- And also there's we got into a bit of an argument as well with Ayala because Nick and we really love planting, right? So it's like a big issue for us that we are limited to certain variety or breed of plants, and we really had to fight over it, right, babe?
Mhm.
We fought with Ayala. We said no, we want to add more variety to the plants. I mean, that's not just enough. And then
Yeah,
eventually,
the list was rather limited.
yeah, very limited. And then eventually, Kim, which very nice of her, by the way.
Kim, by the way, is the property manager for...
Yeah, from Ayala, and she said, "Mom, just list down the plants that you want to plant, and then we will include it in our list of plants, and then we will give it to Ayala, so that they can revise the list of the plants." So now, yeah, we were able to resolve that. I don't know, maybe they will still penalize us for every plant that is not.
Possibly,
Yes.
yeah. We haven't had our final inspection yet.
Yes, and also the pets. You can have pets, but you have to pay
Limited varieties.
deposit. Yeah, limited variety only, like aqua.
I think it's fish,
Aquatic
fish,
animals.
cats, and dogs.
Yes.
That's basically it. Birds? I think you're allowed a bird.
Really? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. Have to check. But rabbits definitely not. Rhiannon's auntie brought her a rabbit for her birthday, and it can't stay here.
Yeah, we just visited
By the way, though, you can actually have any plant you want as long as it's in a pot.
in the pot. Yes.
So these pothoses here, obviously they're in pots.
And you at first you will question like why the hell you care about what plants we're planting, but actually it makes sense. This is the explanation. You want like
Sustainable.
the sustainability of the whole area. As you know, different flora and fauna, they revolved or they
Survive in different
survive in
environments.
different environments, and there's possibility that that the insects that's residing in your plants might kill the the insects
plants.
that reside on the other variety of plants of your neighbors. So that's why it's the reason why they're so particular with that. And what else, babe? I think I covered everything already.
Well, there was the issue we had with the
I'm
plant
sorry,
box.
guys. I only slept for 2 hours, so I'm a bit dizzy.
So you can see actually on the wall back here, there's a red mark. So that red mark was the natural ground level of the lot when we took it over. So at the back here, we dug down, so we had a step down inside and so on. And then when we were planting, down the side here, in order to stop the grass from invading into the plants and so on,
Yes.
we made this,
Yeah, and we just thought that it's okay.
which we just thought was okay. I mean, it's below the natural ground level. My interpretation of the restrictions were that you couldn't build things, planters and stuff within the setback if they were above the original natural ground level.
So we
built this.
stupidly, we just did it without Engineer Jess' approval because we thought it was fine, but then actually it wasn't. So what happened then? We filled it up again. We filled it up with soil. After hauling all the soil already, we bought more soil.
More soil to put in
and
there.
then, yes, we fill it up so that it can kind of level it.
Yeah,
now
and
they're
the basis
almost
of
level.
that is actually now a path. But
Acceptable,
the thing that was confusing for me was this was classed as a plant box and wasn't okay, but this, which to me is a plant box, was okay. So the explanation is that this is actually not a plant box, it's a retaining wall. It's holding back the natural ground level.
Yes.
So I guess if we'd have built it that height all of the way, it would have been fine.
Yes.
But anyway, so these are the kinds of things that come up. Also as well, before you pour any column
Yes.
or any beam,
Ayala will have.
Ayala will come and check it.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
if you do have a contractor, you've got kind of an independent
Yes.
audit being
Because-
done by the Ayala engineer to make sure that they're actually using the size of rebar and the concrete
Right.
mix that's been specified.
Yeah, Engineer Jess really is very helpful, especially after we lost we fired out the contractor, because he always comes here and then he always check that it's deep enough or the rebar size is the right size, because we're building a 3-story house, and we really appreciate that. And after a while, I actually had a conversation with someone, and she told me that in other subdivision they kind of like they build their own homeowners association, and then they said that they don't want Ayala to intervene anymore. But then in the restriction, if you go back to the restrictions, it says that yes, you can have your own homeowners association, provided that
They still
you
follow
will-
the restrictions.
you will uphold the standard of Ayala. But what happened in that subdivision is like they minimize the guards because they don't want to pay a lot of money for the monthly association due. The gardens, the swimming pools are not properly maintained, which actually we saw in a very, very nice subdivision somewhere in San Fernando. We used to live
Hacienda Royale. Yep.
It's a beautiful subdivision, and you know what happened? They didn't
Didn't
the
maintain
swimming
it.
pool is not usable. The clubhouse is really
The roof is
dirty.
falling down
the
inside.
gardens are the gardens around the area, the pocket parks are not maintained. The plants are dying. So because they wanted to, I don't know, I shouldn't say
Minimize their
Yeah, so
monthly
it-
dues, I think. Yeah.
which is understandable, because in Ayala the monthly dues here is a bit higher.
But that's something that you need to be prepared for if you're
Yes,
going
if
to,
you want to
want to live in an
Ayala.
Ayala subdivision. There's a standard, and
Because I don't want I don't want to do that.
yeah,
I actually want Kim and Jesse to stay and manage us, because if I'm not saying it to discredit anybody, but if you allow other people to just we don't want to pay for that. A lot of rich people, they actually is very stingy with their money. They don't want to pay a lot of money for the homeowners association due, and therefore they will fire out the guards. We will have minimum number of guards, and then stealing, robbery will start happening. The crime will increase inside the subdivision, and who's at the losing end? Still us. So I want to uphold that standard.
another thing to consider as well, if you are building like we are on a perimeter lot, the wall, which is owned by
Ayala.
Ayala, you're limited in what you can do with it. So our original idea actually here was we were going to put some stone cladding on the wall here and some tiles and stuff and make it look nice. But that wasn't allowed.
Yes.
It was painted only
You know why? It's the same with our garage.
if they need to do maintenance to it. They don't want to damage your finishing.
Yes, because then later you might then sue them, and say that, oh, you damaged my cladding.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with that.
So everything that you do to the wall basically needs to be removable and not affect the structural integrity. So what we were allowed to do was put some hooks on the wall, and then to that we hung a wire mesh, which we've now turned into the living wall. So probably, actually, in the end, we've ended up with something much nicer than what it would have been if we'd have just put stone cladding on it.
Yes.
But that's something to bear in mind. If you're on a perimeter lot, that wall is not yours, and you're quite limited in what you can do to it.
I would like to stress this a little bit. Sorry, I think the video's pretty long now, right?
33 minutes?
Oh, really? So I would like to give my commendation to Ayala and all the staff, especially here, Kim and Jesse, because without their that resiliency, like we always complain, the homeowners were so pain in the butt. Like, oh, why do we have to do that? And you actually appreciate it once you live here. Like, I feel very safe here. We are not allowed to have a perimeter, actually, right?
Maximum 1 meter
have
for the
gate.
wall.
Yeah.
Maximum 1 meter for the wall, and I think another 1.5
And
meters
you
for
know
a
why?
fence
Because
above.
Ayala actually encourages open neighborhood, you know, like a healthy relationship with your
Yeah.
neighbors, and that's really good. And all the like the restrictions is actually also to, you know, they said that you can be a good neighbor if you know how to observe your restrictions, and I believe that like we're kind of separated from our neighbors, because from here we have 2 meters and he's gonna give another 2 meters, so we're like 4 meters away from each other, which is very good. And the
And you know they're not going to build a big wall there,
Right.
and you know, kind of.
yeah.
You know, some of the subdivisions you go here, yeah, you will go around there, and it looks like each house is its own kind of fortress.
Yes, and it's also one thing that I dislike about this. Like, there's a lot of other good subdivisions in the Philippines, like really with huge houses, but I wouldn't say that they are homey, or
Yeah.
you know, they have that good, like that feeling of like, how do I say, babe, like socialization and family,
Like a community feeling.
yeah, community feeling. Here Ayala really encouraged it, and then we also have a lot of like jogging paths and pocket parks, and
a big park.
a really huge parks, and I really appreciate that very much. It's like a healthy living where we're embracing nature as part of our lives, and the ethos of Ayala, of this like natural sustainability, I really give them like appreciation and praise because of that. And yes, and the standard, the security, I really appreciate it, but you just have to be prepared to abide on those restrictions. If you want to live in a good subdivision, you have to be able to also talk to yourself, can I really be able to comply with the restrictions? If you cannot, then you just live somewhere else where everybody just break the rules. Here, if you want to live in Ayala, you have to be prepared to be obedient, and everybody can enjoy the benefit out of that obedience. So yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I mean, once our neighbors start building, we'll appreciate the fact that they're not allowed to smoke, that they're not living here overnight, that there's no work on holidays, that there's no overtime work.
yes, only until 5 o'clock, and there's no work on Sundays.
Sundays,
Yeah.
any national holidays. So, you know, if you have a time off from work and you're home with your family, you're not going to be disturbed by construction going on next door on those days.
So restrictions are a bit like difficult to abide, but once you live here, you come to appreciate, you know, the rationale behind all those like rules. So Ayala,
That's it.
man, you did a great job.
You got to go back and study now. Enjoy your
Guys,
birthday
actually,
studying.
I'm sorry about being like, you know, I always tell to Nick that every time I'm tired or lack of sleep, I stutter a lot. I'm not like,
Especially when you're not speaking your native tongue.
yes, it's also very difficult because English is not my native tongue, although I live with a British guy for a long time, but you know, I still think and I still dream and I still talk to, you know, to people using my Bisayan language, so it's very difficult. My tongue is still, yeah, sorry. But I hope I was able to help.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions, just comment down below, or any other ideas for videos. I'm sure that it's been much nicer hearing Ellie's voice and not my monotone talking about plants for a change.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
And how do I have to? How do I say it? Like
Don't
and-
forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell,
my
and
daughter would
whatever
be so
else.
good at it. Rhiannon, wait. Rhiannon, you ask our viewers to not to forget to like and hit the subscribe button.
What are they supposed to do?
Hi, guys.
Hi guys,
Remember to.
not.
Don't forget to.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button.
Very good. Bye.
Oh, here you go.